Yo, what's up, world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in. And some Bears news has been made official. The first piece dropped as Chuck Pagano has officially announced his retirement from the NFL, which means we will have to find a replacement for defensive coordinator. And just officially made news, the Bears are going to retain general manager Ryan Pace and also head coach Matt Nagy without contract extensions. But before I get into this news, I just want to make sure you guys are staying safe. And also, leave this video a like so we can help beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you enjoy football content, Bears content, just make sure you click that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you will not miss a single video. But enough with that. Without further ado, let's dive into it. The first piece of news that I want to get into in this video is the news that Chuck Pagano has officially retired from the NFL, which means the Bears will have to find their third defensive coordinator in 4 years. And to be honest with you guys, I didn't think even without the retirement, Chuck Pagano was going to be retained with the Bears because, number one, I felt defensively, especially over the last month and a half of the NFL season, I really felt that the Bears defense really started to slack a little bit. They really did not figure out how to beat good quarterbacks. The 2 games against Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers were basically a disgrace how we looked defensively. Now, we did have some injuries throughout the year with Roy Robertson Harris going down with the shoulder. We did have some injuries as far as Jalen Johnson and Buster Screen being out. We did have Eddie Goldman opt out of the year. But I feel with that, this Bears defense was still talented enough to really compete and remain at the top level, but we really regressed over the last couple of months. Now, I feel that defensively, schematic-wise, was not something that was long-term success, especially playing so much zone against those elite quarterbacks in the NFL. They were not going to last but only so long, especially in the game against Green Bay and also the game against the New Orleans Saints. The Bears defense had moments where they tend to struggle stopping the passing game. They struggle to get off the field on third down. They had plays where they had linebacker cover speedy receivers, which is, I think, attributed more to scheme versus just the talent that we have. And not to mention the injury to Roquan did hurt as well. But I just feel schematically, the Bears defensive pieces did not necessarily fit Chuck Pagano's scheme or the adjustments that he made through the last half of this season. So with him being out, I really felt it was going to be inevitable that Chuck Pagano wasn't going to be back. It's just now official with the retirement. So the Bears are going to have to find a new defensive coordinator. Now, who do I have in mind? I'm not necessarily sure at this very moment, but I think you still have to get a coordinator who has experience. I still think you have to get a coordinator who has a 3-4 scheme that maybe blitzes a little bit more, that fits the personnel that we have. Because with the Bears personnel, I still think it could be a very elite defense. But I just felt the scheme and the scheme and the things that Chuck Pagano started to do with this defense, it really necessarily did not work. And it was plays or in moments where you were just thinking like, it's just not it. Now, I wish Chuck Pagano the best of retirement. I have no ill will against him. I'm not going to sit here and bash the man. It just did not work out, especially with the expectations the Bears had this season as far as the defense goes. It just really did not work. And I think it's more attributed to him and his scheme changing versus the personnel alone. The second piece of news that I want to get into, and I think is the biggest story about all of this, is the Bears retaining Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy for next year without contract extensions. I think without the contract extensions, they are basically on a year prove-it deals. I just feel Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace were going to be attached at the hip. I don't think you were going to fire one and not fire the other. So the decision to really retain both of them, I don't think is necessarily surprising. I personally thought that they will both be gone because I felt it was too late as far as the changes that they made. The offensive line, which struggled in 2019, wasn't really addressed. Even with that, the quarterback situation, I don't think it was the biggest problem for the Bears, even though this year is proven to be. It was a problem. Nick Foles, which was Matt Nagy's handpicked guy, did not work. Ryan Pace's guy, Mitch Trubisky, struggled, and that did not work. I feel that some of the roster moves, as far as signing Robert Quinn to that big contract, was a mistake. Nick Foles was a mistake, in my opinion, to be honest. Not addressing the offensive line, which struggled, was a mistake. And I feel that not adjusting the offensive line with Mustafa and Barnes, who I think should have gotten a chance, versus Cowell, who really struggled. Even though you did have some injuries to James Daniels and you had some injuries to Bobby Massey, Charles Leno struggled with the offensive line. So I feel that the Bears' offensive line was a problem coming in, and them not addressing it was also a huge problem. I think you could have had some more weapons around whoever the quarterback was. Anthony Miller has regressed this year. Darnell Mooney has turned out to be a really good pick. Roquan Smith over Ryan Pace's tenure has been a really good pick. The trade for Khalil Mack has turned out to be really good. Eddie Jackson was a really good pick. So there are some hits and misses in Ryan Pace's time as general manager of the Chicago Bears. But I really feel if anybody was to be out, it would have been Matt Nagy. As far as the things he handled with the quarterback situation, benching Trubisky early and then coming in with Foles, who really tended to struggle for the most part during his starting time as a Chicago Bear. I really felt that he did not adjust the offensive game plan until too late. And if you guys follow me on this channel, I really wasn't a guy that really was a fan of Matt Nagy's scheme to begin with. I really wasn't a guy who was a fan of his play calling to begin with. And this offense, which he was brought in to fix, has absolutely struggled the last 2 seasons. And to be honest, without that 7th playoff spot, the Bears would be on the outside looking in again with an 8-8 record. And I think both guys would have been gone if the Bears had not made the playoffs. So that added 7th spot, to me, I felt saved each of their jobs. Because of that, their Bears are going to take another year and they're going to take another chance on both of them going forward. Now, George McCaskey has come out and said that the quarterback situation needs to be better, which is obviously, it's just stating the obvious. We all seen as Bear fans that the quarterback situation was not right. The quarterback situation did not play out well. I really feel that change had to be needed, not only at the quarterback position, but with head coach. It's going to be interesting to see what the Bears roster moves look like going forward, especially with Allen Robinson contract being up. Whatever the Bears tend to do with the quarterback position, whatever changes they decide to make a defense, you're still going to have Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy making those decisions. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the Bears to go forward, just to say the least. But do I agree with keeping Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace? Personally, no, I really don't agree with it. I really wanted both of them gone. I think the Bears really needed to start over, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, where the ego of Matt Nagy, in my opinion, really got over him because of the quarterback situation and changing Trubisky towards something that he's not and not coaching him to his skill set. But my whole thoughts on that is probably going to be another video for another day. But Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace being kept around, I don't agree with. Even though I could have sitting more with Ryan Pace being kept around versus Nagy, because Ryan Pace has hit on a lot of late round to mid round draft picks. So he's hit on a lot of those mid to late round draft picks that have usually don't turn out to be a lot in the NFL, and he's hit on quite a few of them, especially this year with Darnell Mooney, who's been really well. David Montgomery was a 3rd round pick, and he's been very successful. So I really feel Ryan Pace did enough to keep his job. I personally don't feel Matt Nagy should have been kept around. I felt there was really a change needed for offensive scheme. I felt there was a change needed as far as the ego. I felt it was a culture change needed. Even though the Bears did turn around late of the year and made the playoffs, I really felt there was going to be a change needed as far as the offensive play calling, because the Bears really dramatically changed from a pass-happy team into a team that really had a balanced running game when Bill Lazor took over the play calling Rams. So Chuck Pagano is out. Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are retained for another season without contract extensions, and it's going to be interested to say the least going forward how this Bears team is going to look going into next season. But that's all I have for you guys today. Be sure to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts down below. Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? Or do you agree or disagree with keeping Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace around for another season? And if you enjoy football content, this is the place to be. So click that subscribe button. Also click that notification bell so you will not miss a single video. But I am APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great next day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.